Hi, welcome once again to the True Mouse Games YouTube channel, and welcome to another episode of RPG Snippets. Today we are talking about history, the history of your game world and the history of mine, and how to show history to your player characters. A lot of times to be perfectly honest, my campaign worlds and in other campaign worlds, I have encountered one of two things. Either we have a very static history, it's like hundreds and hundreds of years of the same empires, the same political parties, and the same conflicts without much change, and that's not really realistic, is it? Or we have these vast encyclopedias of historical happenings that nonetheless are mostly just background knowledge, basically, and do very little to influence the present-day world. However, in our world, of course, history is a massive influence on the current day society of where countries are, how people react to things, and what people believe in, and so on and so on. Now, I'll try to show you in this video how to do the same thing in your campaign, how to have history affect your present time, so to speak, in the time where your campaign is set in, right? I'll do it with two examples, which is really just one example of an empire rising and an empire falling. About 140 years before the present time, there was the empire of Moliarch. The Moliarch Empire controlled, which was about 80 to 90% of the subcontinent of Ageshma. And that subcontinent has about the size of Australia in our world, basically. The Moliarchs have a very proud, very martial heritage. The society was closely connected to the military, and over the course of about 300 or so years, they had slowly risen to dominance on this subcontinent, and their armies, called the spear hordes, for the spear was their primary weapon of choice, slowly had conquered and subjugated several other surrounding realms. Most notably, they had enslaved the entire race of the Ageshma, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of these beings. Ageshma being in my campaign a sort of dwarf-like race, without having the capacity here in this video to go into too many details, but let's basically call them dwarfs. The Ageshma were enslaved, and because they were both sturdy and strong, and also had very great skills when it comes to crafts, especially involving metal crafts, they were very prized slaves, and the Moliarchs built their empire on the back of the Ageshma. This all changed in the year 841 after the Second Apocalypse, basically about 145 years before the present time. It changed in a year that would later in history become known as the Year of the Red Harvest. And it started with many small slave rebellions. Many of them were crushed again, and others rose up. The leader of one of these rebellions was an Ageshma named Katro. Katro had slain his overseers, but his followers had lost the battle, and he was forced to flee into the wilderness with the pursuit hot on his heels. And in this wilderness he stumbled upon an ancient temple. And, or so history goes and legend says, in this ancient temple he met a god. And this god, in exchange for a promise of servitude and devotion of the entire race of the Ageshma, gave Katro incredible magical powers. He became strong enough to rise up to destroy his pursuers and destroy a whole army of Ageshma who came to attack him and his few followers. On the back of this one victory, he spread hope and he spread aggression through all the land. He united the many small Ageshma rebellions under one banner, and over the course of the next 3 or 4 years, they crushed every single Moliarch army. They destroyed most of the spear hordes, and they took over. Now, today, 3 Ageshma realms stand on the ruins of what was once the great empire of Moliarch. Now, how does this affect the present day situation in my world? Well, the Moliarchs are not gone. Their empire has fallen, and they have been scattered to the winds, but they are still around. Many of them live in small communities with their own kin on different islands and in different realms, where they are accepted, although not usually loved. The Moliarchs still try to preserve their proud martial heritage. Many of them work as mercenaries to hone their skills, and they try not to mix too much with other people and other races, clinging to the specter of their past glory. They have an overwhelming hatred for the Ageshma, and many of them wish nothing more than to return home and destroy those usurpers, as they call them, and reclaim their former homeland and their former glory. This is especially relevant because in recent years, the three realms of the Ageshma have started a quite aggressive expansion politics. They have created their own armies, the Legions of Steel. These Legions of Steel have invaded several neighboring countries, both on the subcontinent of Agesh and beyond it. And the Ageshma are slowly spreading their influence, both in a military sense and also their religious sense. And who knows, within the next couple of years, there might be some quite intense wars between other realms and the realms of the Ageshma. And the Moliarchs will very well play their part in these wars. And my player characters will most likely also be involved. So that is how the world is shaped by history. And I hope this little example gave you a little bit of inspiration to shape your own present time by what happened before in your world. Let me know if you have done something like this in your own game world. I would like to hear some examples. And as always, good luck with your own games, and I will see you around. True Mouse Games says bye-bye.